animal welfare violations and forced to surrender its state license, still qualifies to supply animals for National Institute of Health funded research. We urge Kennedy to update his policy to ensure that additional factors are taken into account, including the loss of a state-level license, so that what happened at Liliigren Farms can never happen anywhere else again. So I would just want to also give a shout out to the 34 bipartisan members of Congress who signed this letter that went to RFK. Guess who one of the Congress people who signed the letter?
Give me a hint.
Well, Betty McCollum.
Well, right on.
Our Betty McCollum's signature is on this letter. So I just want to give Betty McCollum a shout out. She's been a congressman for us for a really long time, and she's always been a very strong animal advocate. So I just want to say that. Thank you. Yeah. So in New York State, it's upstate New York. It's called Bioresources, which is outside of Marshall in New York. This organization, Bioresources, has over 20,000 animals. See, we thought that Liliigren Farms was really a big place that had over 2,000 beagles, and that's a lot of beagles, but this place has 20,000 animals. They have beagles, other kinds of dogs. They have ferrets, cats.
Jeez.
Yeah, so, and rabbits, and they breed them there and sell them off to places even overseas to do experimentations on, which is horrible. But it's starting today, so they're getting ready today. Across the country, animal advocates, rescue supporters, and peaceful protesters are preparing to gather outside Marshall Bioresources in New York to raise awareness about animals bred for research experiments.
Wow.
Yeah, I wish I could be there, and I hope that a lot of people show up. So for many supporters, this is just not a protest. It's a vigil, right? A vigil for thousands of dogs, cats, ferrets, and other animals they believe deserve protection, compassion, and future beyond the cages. So it's a peaceful vigil, Marshall Bioresources, and it's taking place at 5800 Lake Bluff Road in North Rose, New York. So that's upstate New York. Yeah, this place is huge. So if you look at an overhead shot of Liliigren Farms, it shows like 4 or 5 pretty large buildings, right, that house these beagles, 2,000 beagles. This place is massive. Buildings upon buildings upon buildings with an overhead shot looking at this place. All those animals are inside suffering horrific conditions, and we need to stop animal experimentation in this country and throughout the world.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is 2026. There's other ways to do this.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable that this is still going on. Hey, more with Wendy Pilot and her sacred animals, and also later on, Robert Liliigren. We'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Warmer weather, sunny skies, summer is here. At the Walker, this means mini golf is open on the rooftop. Artist-led activations return to the hillside, and the cinema has a series of curated films. It's the perfect time to visit. Gallery admissions are free every Thursday night and free every day for members and citizens of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org/summer.
Time is running out to experience Uchi Said So at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. This powerful exhibition by Daniel C. Walker shares Native stories rooted in collective identity, generational knowledge, and teachings passed down through community. Through bold portraits and vibrant color, the work honors the significance of grandmothers in Native culture and reminds us that sovereignty begins at home. Closing June 6th, don't miss your chance to experience this powerful exhibition. Plan your visit today at allmyrelationsarts.org.
Maintaining our health, particularly our heart health, is very important to us as a family.
Your heart gives you time with family, time with community, time to pass down what matters. Protecting your heart helps keep those moments alive. A visit with a healthcare provider can be one step toward a healthier future. Learn more at hennepincounty.gov/hearts-beats. Your heart health is essential because your heart beats for generations.
Move up in a new career. Metro Transit is hiring bus drivers with paid training, great benefits, and starting pay at $29 plus per hour. No CDL? Metro Transit will help you get one. This is your chance to build a stable career while making a real impact in your community, connecting people where they need to go every day. Move up with Metro Transit. Learn more by visiting metrotransit.org. Again, that's metrotransit.org.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and I want to be your next United States Senator, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert Pilot, and we're with Wendy Pilot, first part of the show here. Later on, Robert Liliigren from CEO of Native American Community Development Institute here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis. But geez, this saga, Wendy, with our relatives, now 20,000 in upstate New York. This is something that's just unbelievable. You know, it kind of reminds me, we joke about this, but when we're out at the fair, we're next to a taxidermist. And I think that's done on purpose because they've been protested so many times over the years. And it's cowboys and Indians. You know, we see our relatives, you know, that are stuffed and it's just not a good look.
Yeah.
And it's 2026. I keep saying that, but it doesn't really register to a lot of people.
Well, you know, I just hope that people are, more people are becoming aware of stuff. I was in Walgreens last week and I was using my Cruelty Cutter app on my phone. So it's called Cruelty Cutter app. And I scan stuff before I buy it to see if it was tested on animals, mostly, all the cosmetics. And it was like really disheartening to find out, like almost everything that I'm scared, it just kept saying, bite back. This product was tested on animals. So, and the woman who worked there came up to me. She goes, "Oh, I'm just curious. What are you doing? You scanning our products?" So I told her about the app, and she said to me, "Oh, they don't test on animals anymore." And I said, "Oh, no, let me just show you." And I kept scanning everything, and I could see her eyes like, bugging out of her head, like she had no idea. So I just think that a lot of people, because we don't hear about it, right? It's like a dirty secret.
Right.
That these companies don't want you to know about, because if you did, you would be horrified and you'd want to do something about it, just like the Liliigren Farms beagles.
Yeah.
And I think that our advocacy for these dogs and all the animals who are experimented on in these really horrific ways are, people are becoming really aware, and people don't want to buy products that are, rubbed in a bunny's eye or, whatever, a mascara or whatever.
Or wearing furs.
Yeah.
That's not a thing anymore. But you see them every once in a while with these musicians or stars or whatever still wearing them.
I know. It's really horrible. Anyway, I wish I could be at this vigil, Marshall Bioresources, in North Rose, New York, this weekend. So really the goal again is, advocates say the goal is to peacefully shine light on the animal testing practices, commercial laboratory breeding, welfare concerns, and the push for alternatives to animal experimentation. We have a lot of alternative ways to test things and to do things nowadays with all the DNA and, growing
AI.
Earlobes in petri dishes, and growing all kinds of, organs and things that we need. So yeah, it's definitely something that we can do. But the other thing I want to talk about too is the dogs that were rescued from Liliigren Farms. Again, we talked about this, but some of them are only in there for like less than a year. And you could see that those younger dogs are really bouncing back and really, learning how to be a dog quicker. They're being more friendly, and they're just really happy to be out. And the older dogs, I mean, there's some dogs that have been in there for 7 years, 8 years, and their whole entire life. And they're really, really taking a long time to assimilate to the outside world. They've never known anything different than inside that cage, their whole life. So if you want to adopt one of these dogs, I think that's great. Just know what you're getting yourself into. These dogs are shut down. They've had trauma. They've been hurt. They've never seen the light of day. They've never seen the light of day.
Or walked on leaves or grass.
Right. Or anything. So there's kind of like the 666 adjustment guide for dogs rescued from commercial breeding facilities. And this you have to take with a grain of salt because some dogs might take longer or shorter. So like really the first 6 days, the dogs are feeling overwhelmed, right? They might be scared and unsure of what's going on. They're not comfortable enough to be themselves. They may not even drink water or eat anything for a really long time. They're shut down. They just want to crawl into a corner and make themselves as small as possible. They'll hide under a table. And they're just kind of like seeing what they could do and seeing what they can't do. And that's the first 6 days, Now 6 weeks. So this is over a month, right? 4 weeks, 6 weeks. They're starting to settle in, most of them, right? They're feeling more comfortable. They're realizing that they could have the possibility of like a home and not being hurt. They figure out their environment. They're getting into a routine. They let their guard down and they might start showing their true personality. And I've seen videos of some of the dogs, just running like they've never been able to run around because they've been kept in a 4x2 cage their whole entire life. So they're like running around. They've never played with a toy. They don't even know what it is. So they're like trying to, bite toys and stuff. It's really cute. But their behavior at 6 weeks, their behavior issues may start showing up in 6 months. So we're into 6 months now. Finally, completely comfortable in their home. They build trust and a true bond, gained an complete sense of security with their new family, and they're set into a routine. Now, our dogs, Wanda, Emma, and Gracie, when we adopted the 3 of them, I feel like it took like 5 months really for them to know that we were their people. Like we got these 3
hide in the
dogs.
backyard.
They would hide. They went out.
bushes.
We let them out to go potty, and then they would go underneath the bushes, and they wouldn't come out.
What I found out, Wendy, through that whole thing was there's a big difference between 2 dogs and 3 dogs, and especially if they don't know you.
I know. Yeah. So, I would say anytime you adopt a dog, you need to really give it a lot of time. They need time to adjust. They need time to figure out that you're safe.
Do you think it's better to have people, instead of adopting a dog, maybe, what is it? Fostering first?
Yeah, I think fostering is great. You could foster for a rescue organization, and being a foster is really such an important role. I can't say it enough, because you're really saving 2 dogs. So you're fostering the dog, and you're not adopting it. You're just letting this dog stay in a safe place where they could live with you until they find their forever home. But you're also making room for another dog to come into the rescue organization.
What's always interesting, and I forget this, is our guest, State Senator Mary Kunish, has been a foster for many, many, many years.
That's great.
I just forget that.
Yeah, that's great. And, a lot of people are like, I could never foster a dog because I'd never be able to give it away.
Foster failures.
I feel like I would be like that too. I would really like to give it a try though. I really would. And then if you really love the dog and you fall in love with the dog and you have a bond with the dog, you could always adopt the dog.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of I know. I would like to try to foster a dog. And this way you could really try it out too, to see if the dog was.
Can you foster cats too?
Yes, you can foster a cat.
cat
We can
right
foster
now.
a cat.
Now.
I know someone.
Oh,
Yeah, I know someone. I can get in touch with them in 2 minutes.
when we're over at our daughter's
Like,
house,
"Are
I
you
was just
okay?
like,
Come
oh,
here,
I
baby."
miss our kitties we've had over the years.
Yeah,
He
we've
just
had
came up to me and I
lots of
was petting
cats.
him.
I know.
Yeah.
I love cats. You know, people think that cats are less, they don't need a lot of attention and that they're easier than dogs, but cats really need a lot of stimulation and
Yeah.
attention. And they really do. Like some people are like, oh, it's a cat. I could leave it alone for the weekend or, it doesn't need me home or, just, I don't know. I think they just feel like cats don't need as much as dogs. And when I feel like they need just as much as dogs and they do want your attention, you remember Lucy, our little cat. The other two cats were like taking over the house and getting all of Robert's attention. And poor little Lucy was like not
Yeah.
intentionally neglected, but she was like an afterthought. And she was a bad cat. Like she would jump on your computer and step on keys, and she was a pest.
Yeah.
And somebody told you need to start paying attention to her.
Well, you know why? Because remember, Lucy was beating up the other cats,
Yeah.
boxing them.
Right. But
And then we said, oh,
That's
we told
right.
somebody and they said, well, instead of scolding her like I would,
Mhm.
we gave her more attention and she kind of stopped doing that.
Yes. So
But-
that's all she wanted. She was doing it because she wanted attention, the
Oh,
poor little thing.
Lucy.
So anyway, get the Cruelty Cutter. It's a
Yes.
free app. Put it on your phone and you could scan products before you buy them. And it'll tell you whether it was tested on animals or not. And if it was tested on animals and you click another button, it'll give you an alternative product that you could buy that wasn't tested on animals.
Show off in front of your friends when you go to a
When you go
convenience store.
Yeah, exactly. Just get your scan around. Scan that barcode.
Well, Wendy, it's always great to have you talking about our sacred animals and starting out the show. It's a little different, but we're going to have Robert Liliigren on next. Wow, it's always good to talk about our sacred animals.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I always have stuff to talk about.
All right. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, and this is Native Roots Radio.
We'll be right back.
Stay with us. Oh,
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. For a meal that feeds your soul and health, check out Gatherings Cafe. Located in the renovated Minneapolis American Indian Center, Executive Chef Vernon Defoe and team serve up incredible indigenous flavors. Gatherings Cafe has amazing bison tacos featuring lean protein from native wise, corn tortillas, and homemade sides. It's fresh, local food rooted in ancestral knowledge. Stop by for breakfast or lunch. That's Gatherings Cafe, where tradition meets innovation.
Move up in a new career. Metro Transit is hiring bus drivers with paid training, great benefits, and starting pay at $29 plus per hour. No CDL? Metro Transit will help you get one. This is your chance to build a stable career while making a real impact in your community, connecting people where they need to go every day. Move up with Metro Transit. Learn more by visiting metrotransit.org. Again, that's metrotransit.org.
Time is running out to experience Unchi Said So at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. This powerful exhibition by Daniel Seawalker shares Native stories rooted in collective identity, generational knowledge, and teachings passed down through community. Through bold portraits and vibrant color, the work honors the significance of grandmothers in Native culture and reminds us that sovereignty begins at home. Closing June 6th, don't miss your chance to experience this powerful exhibition. Plan your visit today at allmyrelationsarts.org.
Programming is supported in part by Health Partners. If you're age 65 plus and qualify for medical assistance, you may also qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. This all-in-one plan bundles Medicare, medical assistance, prescription drug coverage, and dental coverage into one simple $0 premium plan That also includes $0 medical copays. In addition to saving money, you can get lots of extra benefits and perks, like a dedicated care coordinator, up to $400 each year in rewards for preventative screenings, transportation, a fitness club membership, and more. This can help you live safely and healthy and independently. If you're a senior on a budget, transportation assistance can be huge. Plus, who couldn't use an extra $400 these days? Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
Heart health is more than just the physical well-being. It represents like a foundation of vitality, resilience, and the ability to live fully.
Your heart carries stories of resilience, love, and survival. Caring for your heart means honoring yourself and the generations before and after you. It means protecting your ability to gather, laugh, and be present. Learn more about your heart health at hennepincounty.gov/heart-beats, because your story matters and your heart beats for generations.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 65, then Friday, sunshine with a high of 85. Celebrate the arrival of summer with a fantastic meal from an Eat Local Minnesota restaurant. They're perfect for a date night, a night out with friends or family, or any other occasion. Check out the list of Eat Local Minnesota restaurants at eatlocalminnesota.com. This is AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Oh, this is Dallas Goldtooth, and you're listening to the Native Roots Radio. Hoka, hicha, wecha.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert Pilot, and we are with our friend Robert Liliigren, a White Earth Ojibwe citizen, and also the president and CEO of Native American Community Development Institute here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis. And wow, welcome, Robert. Thank you so much for coming on. I know your schedule's really full, and really appreciate being able to.
Bonjour, Robert. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure. Yeah, it's been this afternoon just kind of collapsed on itself, so sorry I couldn't join earlier.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate it. Wendy talked about her sacred animals, and it was great to catch up with what's going on with Rigland Farms and all these farms across the Turtle Island. I don't know, Robert, can I ask you about this? Because I'm a little confused about Angie Craig and what she did. Is this going to be an issue? Is this going to split the vote down the middle when it comes to election time, or how do you see this?
Well, we shall see what happens. You know, the big deal thing is that our state Democratic Party, we call it the Democratic Farmer Labor Party here, the DFL, has their state endorsing convention this weekend. So Friday through Sunday down in Rochester at Mayo Civic Center. And that's where they would, but there's a lot of business that the convention does, the delegates vote on. But the big deal one is who they're going to endorse for U.S. Senator. And also, of course, it's a gubernatorial campaign too. So who they're going to endorse for governor. That where Peggy Flanagan, our Whiter sister, is concerned. She's running for the U.S. Senate. She and a sitting Congresswoman, Peggy Flanagan, is our lieutenant governor right now, and so she's won statewide races before. And Congresswoman, a district congresswoman, sitting is also was pursuing the DFL endorsement, dropped out just a few days ago, kind of left the field open for Peggy, and so now it's kind of a for sure thing that it'll be Peggy that gets the party endorsement, but her opponent, Congresswoman Angie Craig, has indicated she's running to the primary in August, and so they'll have a runoff there. We shall see what this does. Peggy Flanagan is a very, very powerful politician. She's a brilliant, we call it retail politics, person to person kind of politics. She knows how to work the system. She is smart, very genuine, very warm. She makes people around her feel special. So I would suspect, and I've seen these numbers somewhere, but I have no inside information. I want to be 100% clear. I'm not really a good source here, but that Peggy was at somewhere around 70 to 75% of the delegates, and Andrew Craig was somewhere around 25% of the delegates. And so Angie Craig could see what that meant. The writing was on the wall. It wasn't really going to advance her cause by going down and performing that poorly. So she stepped out.
Yeah.
So going to the primary, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, because we know, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm a delegate too, and I'll be down in Rochester.
Oh, great. Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, and so it's a little disappointing because I wanted to really see that and really lift up Peggy, because I correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure. I thought somebody else got the DFL endorsement for governor when Walz and Peggy won the first time. Wasn't that she's still in there too as a state senator, a nurse. I can't think of her name off the top of the head, but I should. She lives right by us.
Sure. Yeah, and that happens fairly regularly, Robert, right? People don't get the endorsement, they run, they can win. You could see why Tim Waltz and Peggy Flanagan won. They're incredible organizers, incredibly talented organizers, very genuine people. Voters liked them, right? Dayton wasn't endorsed either, and so it happens. It's not that uncommon, but it has a lot to do with how people feel about the candidates. And Peggy has been endorsed by lots of people, including our retiring senator Tina Smith. Smith is also a former lieutenant governor of the state, and their politics are pretty similar, I would say. And so we'll see. There's, I think, around Angie Craig, there's this idea that maybe she has broader statewide appeal. But like I said, Peggy's won statewide election before, and candidates like her are faring very well in a lot of places right now. Progressive, centered.
I feel like Angie Craig has a lot of baggage, and I think some of the people are going to try and put Peggy Flanagan on the baggage of all this things that are happening, that the governor got out of the race about, and it's not fair. And I don't know, too, help me out with this. I feel like there's so much outstate money helping Angie Craig. Every time I look at a YouTube video, I get an Angie Craig ad.
Right. Well, on broadcast television and everything, and there's these sort of dark money concerns that are kind of misrepresenting Angie Craig's record, to make her sound a little more progressive, right? And so how's she going to balance? Is she the less progressive candidate, or is she the more progressive candidate? And what's going to appeal to the voters? But I've watched and been part of Peggy Flanagan's career since her very first campaign in 2004 for Minneapolis School Board. She was brilliant then. She's brilliant now. And that's where my money is on Peggy Flanagan. And she's raising money from small donors, right? She's
right.
Whereas Angie Craig's is coming from corporate donors and PACs and things like that.
Right. Well, you all know who I'm for. So it's interesting because we didn't see Angie Craig, and the last time I saw her, she got a smattering of applause, and the lieutenant governor got a standing ovation. So, yeah, I believe that 75% of 3-1 were delegates were voting for Flanagan, but we've got to keep it going and support and talk more about it. I just wanted to see what you thought, because at first I was like, oh my God. And then second, I thought, well, is this going to mess up? Is this going to, when the election happens, or is she going to bow out after, if she doesn't win, the primary?
Well, she has to bow out if she doesn't win the primary, right? She's out unless there's some weird stipulation where she could run as an independent or something. I don't know if that's possible. So she's running to the DFL, the Democratic primary, and then whoever wins that faces the Republican candidate. And that race doesn't seem to be really shaping up like much of anything. So, the convention's going to be great. That's where you can really excite the base and put together the support that will carry Peggy through the primary.
Well, this is my second convention. The first one was the national convention in, was it Chicago a couple of years ago? I don't even know where I was, but I was there.
Those national conventions do kind of mess up your head a little bit, right? It's like, where am I? So I've gone to several state conventions. I've gone to every kind of convention when I was in politics, And I went to the national convention in Denver. I remember where I was, and that was in 2008. And that was the year that Obama got the nomination for the first time. And it was so historic. People were just so fired up. It was really, really something.
Yeah, well, we'll be looking forward to that because of the things that are happening right now are just, the orange one has a 30%, 35% approval rating and on the economy and the war, and that's just the cult that's still supporting them.
Yeah, it's a solid base, but it's kind of, fraying a little bit every day. Some key demographics that got them elected the second time and the first time, but the second time for sure are starting to move away from them. So, the biggest risk here, I think, is voter interference, right? Voter suppression.
Yes.
And that's a very real threat. As you know, the organization I work for does a lot of voter outreach, political engagement and stuff. Nonpartisan, of course, we're a nonprofit. And but we're having to plan in a way we've never had to plan before around polling place safety and voter security and all these things that we really didn't have to face before. But it's going to be interesting. As I'm sure a lot of your listeners know, we had a surge of federal ICE agents here in December, January. A lot of us feel that was kind of setting the plan for how to interfere with the elections. So it's kind of waiting to see indications that it's kind of coming back. So it's going to be, generally, it's hard enough to get people to get out and vote. In some ways, especially Native people, now it's going to be a whole different lift.
Yeah, definitely. And our friend that's listening to us, looks like on YouTube, said it's Aaron Murphy, and that's who I couldn't think
that's
of.
right. It was Aaron Murphy. That's right. Thank you for that one.
Thank you so much.
A great politician, a brilliant candidate, but it does show you the endorsement doesn't mean that you're going to win.
Well, we're really excited here. There's other things going on. I just got to bring this up too. And I know I'm not sure if you'll be there, but I know you really support this organization. Walk On Teepee's having their grand opening tomorrow at 11 and 2, and I'll be emceeing it, so I'll have jokes aplenty. And that'll be fun because I think there's over 600 people now that are registered to be there, so that'll be a great celebration.
It's going to be huge. And for folks who don't know, Walk On Teepee is a very sacred site in St. Paul on the Mississippi River, and it has its grand opening tomorrow. And yeah, I will be there. I have to get back to Minneapolis for a meeting kind of early, but I'll be there as long as I can. And it should be brilliant. 11 o'clock to 12:30, the remarks and the ribbon cutting ceremony. 12:30 to 2. You can explore and mingle and feast. But it's a huge deal, and hats off to so many people who worked so hard to get this built, but also kind of get it acknowledged, get it protected. And I'd really encourage it. I don't know about tomorrow. There's already 600 people RSVP, but I'd get down there sometime soon. They just do a brilliant programming, cultural programming, restoring the plants along down there. It's gorgeous. It's just really a very cool place. And I really just need to shout out our sister Maggie Lawrence, who's been a fearless leader and sort of redirecting. This was a very different vision before folks got involved, before Maggie got involved, and so I'm super excited.
Yeah, I'm super excited too, and a lot going on, and it's going to be fun. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we're with Robert Liliigren, and we're going to take a quick break here and come back. This is Native Roots Radio. Oh.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Culture prevents so many negative things from happening to us as individuals and as communities.
Strong roots begin with a healthy heart. For Indigenous women, heart health is part of caring for community, culture, and future generations. Even small steps can help protect what matters most. Discover ways to support your heart at hennepincounty.gov/hearts-beats, because your heart beats for generations.
Move up in a new career. Metro Transit is hiring bus drivers with paid training, great benefits, and starting pay at $29 plus per hour. No CDL? Metro Transit will help you get one. This is your chance to build a stable career while making a real impact in your community, connecting people where they need to go every day. Move up with Metro Transit. Learn more by visiting metrotransit.org. Again, that's metrotransit.org.
Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. For a meal that feeds your soul and health, check out Gatherings Cafe. Located in the renovated Minneapolis American Indian Center, Executive Chef Vernon Defoe and team serve up incredible indigenous flavors. Gatherings Cafe has amazing bison tacos featuring lean protein from native wise, corn tortillas, and homemade sides. It's fresh, local food rooted in ancestral knowledge. Stop by for breakfast or lunch. That's Gatherings Cafe, where tradition meets innovation.
Hi, it's Dr. Evan Adams, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio. Hey, Victor, you better be listening.
In this portion of the show, we'd like to bring awareness to our wolf and bear populations throughout Turtle Island. Say no to the hunts.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio. I love Wendy's little bear roar at the end there. Yeah, we're with Robert Liliigren. Before we get back to business here, I just want to remind everyone that it's American Indian Month, and I will be at Minneapolis Institute of Art right after the show here. A lot going on. Willard Male Bear will be out there showing things and creative things in his studio for people, and of course Ojibwe language culture with NACDI games. So head on over there right after the show, or listen to the rest of the show with your transistor radio. Wow. Remember those, don't we, Robert?
Oh yeah. Do they even have them anymore?
Yeah, I do have one. I think I got it at Goodwill. It was funny. We talked about that, Wendy and I, in the first part of the show, and she says, yeah, you have everything. Because she said, I don't even think I have. I said, I got one right over there. So when I used to go to the Twins game, I used to listen to the radio at the same time. But now they have a 7-second delay because I guess they've been swearing over the years. So can't do that anymore. Well, this is a great time to bring up, what would you like to talk about, Robert? There's so much going on in the corridor. So many great things this month that happened. It's just amazing. I couldn't make everything.
I couldn't either. Actually, it was a lot. But yeah, it's American Indian Month here in the whole state of Minnesota and in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul area. There's just a lot. There's powwows, there's open houses, just a lot going on. And so, and people just kind of elevate their programming and things. And so at NACDI, Native American Community Development Institute, we have, of course, our All My Relations Arts. Got to get to see Unzi Said So before it closes. But we also have do food sovereignty work. So we have an urban farm, Four Sisters Urban Farm. Last week we did a great event, a seedling giveaway to the community. And then this weekend on Saturday, 10 to 1 p.m., we're planting our medicine garden. And this is land that was kind of abandoned along a railway corridor. And little by little, Four Sisters Urban Farm has been reclaiming this, and it's just beautiful down there. It's looking so good. It's a partnership with our county here, Hennepin County Regional Rail Authority. So if folks are around, it's at 2853 Bloomington Avenue in South Minneapolis, Saturday 10 to 1. And then, of course, next week starts our Four Sisters Farmers Market which is at our building at 15th and Franklin, where Powwow Grounds is, and All My Relations Arts Gallery. So it starts June 4th, and then it runs through end of October. And there's great things going on. There's be music by Will They Kiss. That's the music tomorrow, but there's something going on, vendors, every Thursday, 11 to 3. So
It's
stop
the
down.
place to be seen, you
It
know.
is. I love
being out there for a couple hours.
We used to have this great staffer who would take photos, kind of like who are at best kind of photos, or of the fashionable natives down along the avenue, and then she posted them on social media. It was hilarious. I loved that. So those are some big deal things going on right at NACDI, Native American Community Development Institute. But if folks want to see a calendar of events, you can go to the Metropolitan Urban Indian Directors website. It's MUID, that's MUD, Metropolitan Urban Indian Directors, MUIDMN.org. There's a tab for Indian Month, and that'll take you to a calendar that's really impressive. I would say it's the best, most comprehensive calendar we've ever had. So, yeah. So hats off.
Link it up on the Circle magazine.
Yeah.
We need.
Right. Well, and it's almost over, right? So, but tomorrow is Friday. So the Phillips Indian Educators, Bademakaska canoeing is tomorrow. Walk on TP Grand Opening, of course, and community honoring of Minneapolis Public Schools graduating seniors, Native seniors. Saturday, it's Prior Lake and Savage Schools Indian Education Powwow from 1 to 5. But you can just take a look at the whole calendar and you'll get a flavor for how much was going on. Pretty much almost every day has at least one, if not multiple, events. And yeah, the community really embraces Indian Month. It was an initiative of the American Indian Movement back in the 70s. It was American Indian Week back then. But it's meaningful because the community makes it meaningful. And then it gives opportunities for non-Native people to come and experience some culture and build some relationships. It's a really positive thing.
One thing that I saw this week that you were part of was a land back celebration. I was wondering if you could let our audience know a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, and technically, I don't know if you'd call it land back, because it was Dakota land, but it was land whose title was transferred to a Native organization, the Indigenous Protector Movement, a local church very close to the American Indian Cultural Corridor, where all the orgs are and stuff. A transferred title of a large duplex and a vacant lot next to it to the Indigenous Protector Movement. They have plans to turn it into outdoor ceremony space in the lot and gathering space. And then in the duplex, the lower level, they'll do their programming. They have the Many Shield Society, which engages our men in sobriety and culture and patrolling the neighborhood for safety. They have the Women's Warrior Society. And then the second floor of the duplex, they'll turn it into communal living for our brothers who are returning from incarceration and get them in a community, right, where they can support each other. They have support around them. They're surrounded by people who look like them, who share their experiences. And I suspect this is going to be a very successful reentry program. So I'm looking forward to that. And it was a beautiful ceremony. The church, Our Savior's Lutheran, was right there. The pastor and the leadership there, community leadership participated. We had a beautiful ceremony to open it by Sharon Day. So it was very meaningful. It was a lot of emotion came up.
That's awesome and well deserved. What a great group, and what they've been doing in a short time here for our community, the Warrior. And too, I always like the term too, especially when we have people coming back to not only society but to us doing things native wise. We don't throw away people. We welcome them back, and that's a thing I like to bring up every once in a while.
I appreciate that. And yeah, there's too few of us, right? We don't have anyone to waste here.
Right.
So, and then with the Indigenous Protector Movement and the brilliant leadership there, especially Rachel Deanne Thunder, she called it putting land under Indigenous stewardship, which
Mm-hmm.
I feel like is a little bit more accurate than land back, right? It wasn't. It was Dakota land, and so
Right.
there are land back movements. There's a big one going on up north right now that our Governor Waltz just signed in.
Yes.
Fond du Lac, wasn't it? Fond du Lac.
Yes.
They're getting
Crazy. 3,500 acres.
Yeah, back. So that's land back, right? For sure, that was their land, and so, but this Indigenous stewardship of land, I think it's going to be kind of a movement, right? You hear a bunch of these kinds of things going on around, but this was the biggest one that I've attended.
Well, we got less than a minute. I'd love you to have the final word here before I end the show, Robert. Again, so important, and I appreciate you with the conversation and bringing up all these things that are happening around Turtle Island, and especially here in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, you probably have more to say, especially going down. When are you going down to Rochester for the state convention?
Well, I'm going to pre-record the show afterwards, so probably about 3 or so.
Very cool. Have a safe trip. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. I'm a little jealous, but I know you'll be. There's a lot of Native folks that became delegates, I think in large part because of Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan. But yeah, so connect with them, organize. People got to start thinking. It's not too early to make your voting plan. We don't really know what's going to happen, but look to engage. And if you want to be involved, I would say volunteer on a campaign. It's a great way to learn the system.
Great way to end it. Thank you, Robert Liliigren, President and CEO of Native American Community Development Institute. Hey, if you're listening to the show, you are part of the resistance. We're still here. We are the 7th generation. See you tomorrow. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center.